Hey everyone, Wrath here. Just wanted to make a video on the two new bosses with Season 8. The first boss up is Urivar. This video is a shout out to all the hardcore players. One of the important things on hardcore is actually knowing mechanics and what can and can't get you killed. And Urivar, I think he's easy. I think he's a joke. I think he's one of the simplest bosses, but he can still be dangerous, and it's important to know how to do the boss. Now, the first thing you should do is not to just one-shot him. You should pick a character that's not strong enough, such as the Dance at Knives Rogue on Torment 2, where you're unlikely to just one-shot him. So this first thing you see is the beams. This is gonna knock you back. He's gonna drop this crap, which chases you. I honestly didn't even realize it chases you. And if you get too close to the edge, these pikemen are going to mess you up. So you don't have a lot of room to work with, but you should be able to kill him pretty quick and transition him. If you're not, you probably shouldn't be working on him. And T4 Urivar can probably be a little bit scary, but I still don't think he's nearly as dangerous as Zur or Beast in the Eyes, just because so much can go wrong with them. As you can see, this fire is insane. He's doing the knockback again. I'm trying to get him to transition, and the fire hurts. Hopefully he'll transition. For some reason, he doesn't want to, so I might have to kill him. And as you can see, the spears like to go to him. So these spears can be very dangerous, both in Phase 1 and Phase 2. Apparently, I didn't get the ads out there, so I'll do them once more. With those spears, he'll recall them. They'll go to him. If you get hit by more than one, you're probably dead. That is very important to know about when you're trying to fight this guy on hardcore. There's nothing worse than a hardcore boss just clapping you. Most people don't even notice these things on softcore just because that doesn't matter. All that matters is damage. Glass cannon. There's the knock. There's the transition. Alright, these ads need to die. They're all going to have an affix on them. You don't want to attack them from the front. They're going to poke you and they're going to take less damage. But once they come down, there's not a whole lot to them, and you can CC them. Here's the spears. You want to be around the edge. As long as you're around the edge, you're good. I honestly did not even realize that he resummons all these guys. So just be mindful of that. That said, you should have enough damage you don't have to deal with those mechanics. If you have to fight him too long in Phase 1 or Phase 2, you'll probably run out of potions. But I never noticed that. When I started him this season, I did Grigor, and then I did this guy or Duriel. Duriel hits hard, and Duriel has a lot of mechanics, and Duriel has a lot of health. Duriel is still, I think, one of the easiest bosses. Very scripted. So I don't think Duriel is all that challenging. The other boss we have is Harbinger. Not a lot of people understand this boss. The dogs are scary. There's a whole lot of mechanics going on here. Now, I will say one of the number one things is that you can kill the portals. Each small portal is going to attach to a bigger portal, and as long as any of the portals are attached to a big portal, that big portal is going to be immune to damage. Now, as portals respawn, that doesn't seem to be the case, but the initial spawning portals have to die before you can kill the big portal. If you have enough damage, you don't need the balls of light. You can kill the big portal without the balls of light, which I'll demonstrate on my Necro in just a sec. But I want to summon this guy to show you just how easy this is. These first dogs and these first portals don't do anything, they're just symbolic. And the first ability he's going to do is he's going to throw out a triple circle, and he's going to annihilate my health with whatever that dot was. These triple circles usually come out a little bit quicker. They cause a ton of damage. I'm going to pop my cooldowns here and just dodge these. If you get hit by him, it's not a true one-shot on hardcore, but it feels like it. There's the first portal down. I normally do the left and the right portal first. If you take too long to kill these portals, they're going to be barraging you with stuff. So especially on hardcore, you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping the small portals destroyed, and then he's going to come on out. You can fire these things at him. If you're quick enough, you can grab one of these orbs and have it for the transition. I want to get him into the portals one more time. You have to do at least 2 portal phases, so I think after we get this next triangle, he should transition. There it is. These dogs run over you for damage. They also charge for insane amount of damage, and if he leaps out of that portal and pounces on you, it is going to hurt. The portals also respawn, so if you take too long, you're going to have these things pelting you. As you can see, damage is avoidable, but it adds up. He's always going to pause here with a sliver of health before he dies. Don't freak out. I don't think you have to do any more damage. I think he's just finishing his animation and then he's going to die. Similar to how Belial does it. And I wasn't intending to do Belial, but if I have him unlocked, I'll go ahead and I'll go there and I'll show his fight. And hopefully I won't die to him. I find Belial to be fairly manageable for the first 25 seconds. You can technically go pretty long with Belial. It's just his mechanics are going to sync up in weird ways that are going to increase the likelihood that you die. Essentially, they get harder over time. If you've done Cutting Edge in World of Warcraft, you are familiar with how mechanics get harder as the fight progresses. That was his melee AoE cleave. This is his breath. You need to be in the opposite corner of the breath. These pools are going to destroy your health bar. And we didn't get the I-beams there because apparently I pressed too many of my DPS cooldowns. But that is that. Supposedly, if you're doing Duriel and you're selecting Duriel or Harbinger, you have a much higher chance for Mythic Uniques. I've not confirmed this. It's very hard to test for that. That said, I do want to call it with the nameless, so I'm happy to pick one. I normally am on my Necromancer. I'm normally doing Zur. I'm normally just picking Zur, and everything that comes out of this chest is going to have a much higher chance for a GA. So whatever it's very important to know what your chase item is. Because of just how rare Belial is, I would encourage you to spend a lot of time thinking about um, what loot is going to be most impactful, because you're not going to get a ton of options to do Belial. His mats are very expensive. So it is very important that you are maximizing your loot opportunities with them. Alright, let's see if I can get the I-beams to pop up and show you guys more of the fight. And I didn't get out of melee there because I am bad. I did transition him. He is going to try and chase me with these things, and as you can see, they don't all follow you, but a lot of them do. And they hurt. These pools hurt. Everything hurts. The I-beams hurt. I like to use Belial's. Oh god, that was at range. That one's at melee. This is what I'm talking about. The I-beams plus the melee sweep or the range sweep, you do not have a lot of room to work with. If you're fighting Belial on hardcore, I don't recommend taking more than 25 seconds to kill him. And he's doing more of these pools. He does not always do this many. And as you can see, you go more than 25 seconds, it is not going to be a good time. Better play there, and I wasn't using the Belial power. I think with Belial's eye power, I can probably last longer there and survive. I also have to just do the mechanic. But he is going to start syncing up mechanics, and it's not going to be fun. I've done the extra triangle. He's past the second triangle, so he should have harder combos. See, he just wiped the back there. Then he did the breath. Now he's doing another breath. We're up to 6 pulls on this platform. Oh god, that is more than 6. This is not a happy fun time. Here's 2 more. He's probably going to do something. Oh god. And it is by the grace of God that we killed him there. So once you get to Belial below 33%, it looks like that's when he really ramps up the difficulty of the fight. I don't know if you're a hardcore player. I don't know how you gauge that. I know this late in the season, you can pretty decently reliably find boss killers. So if you can, I recommend getting someone who can kill the boss. To give you an idea of how strong necromancers become, I can just log on my necromancer and go show a kill. I will actually log on my hardcore necromancer. Most bosses don't scare me. Belial needs to have multiple people in game to beef him up to the point where I'm concerned that I might not kill him fast enough on hardcore. I think in a 4-player T4 game, there's a chance that he'll be too difficult to kill. But hardcore, it's hard to find people who will do Belial. So, it's not something you come across a whole lot. And hopefully I am not going to die here. I don't have my shield built up yet, so I am going to build it up. And as you can see, I did a lot of damage. Just to give an idea of how strong my hardcore necromancer is, I have a very weak predictions, a very weak shroud, um, a very weak mace. I actually just got this mace and I spent all of my gold on other stuff, so I can't work this mace until I farm up. But uh, I only have 170 for my blood wave for my title aspect. Um, my other mace only has +6 for Titan's Fall. Some people are going to be asking me, why are you running Titan's Fall instead of, what's the other thing? Finality? Yeah, Finality is the other score. Well, I would love Finality, but I think it's better. You get +2 way more than you used to. So I actually almost bricked this maze. I've already used a scroll on it. It has 2 tempers left. I just go with whatever I get. If I get +4 Titan's Fall, I stick with that. If I get +2 Finality, I stick with that. I strongly recommend that with a 2 or 3 GA mace this season. You really don't need a 3 GA on mace. That's just going to be overkill and showing off at that point. But just go with whatever comes up. As you get more two-handed maces with the GA on max life, you can try and fish for one that's going to have +4 finality. That said, on softcore, my softcore necromancer has a +4 Titan's Fall. It has the resource Lucky Hit. It has the G on max life, and it has. I somehow managed to land 3 tempers on, or sorry, 3 masterworks on Titan's Fall. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to be fishing for finality for a while. And I think if I eventually do obtain or buy 2GA Max Life Intellect, whichever one it gets is whichever one I'm going to go with. That was Belial. This is incredibly risky. I'm going to go do Harbinger Den. I probably shouldn't, just because I'm tired and I don't like doing him. When I'm like not at my best, but I want to demonstrate what a Bloodwave Necromancer can do on him. I kind of like Harbinger more than Duriel. He has less forced intermission phases, and in many ways he feels easier to do. I'm not intentionally farming all of this, but it is nice to get 4 stacks of Corpse Eater. I'm going to wait for everything to trickle in here. The biggest thing for Harbinger is watching for him coming out. He has about a 10-second cooldown on the big portals. You're going to be watching out for him leaping out. I have 23k health. That is not enough. If I get hit by his bullshit, it's going to be rough times ahead. And this is spooky. This is spooky. I don't have the Belial thing. I'm a little bit upset that he hasn't come out yet. There he is. That was spooky. Dodge the circles. That was so spooky. There's the dogs. There's the big him. We can actually get a lot done since he just popped out. I killed the small ones with the blood wave. Once I dodged him, I just grabbed the balls and shot all 3 portals. As you can see, this is hardcore. Torment 4, he's not that bad. Hopefully, a lot of hardcore players will see this video and see that he's not quite as dangerous as Andariel. I would prefer to have 28k to 29k life. I do get hit from him on occasion. Um, I I honestly think him and his little dogs hit for the same amount. If you get hit by the dash from either him or his dogs, it feels like 90% of your health bar as a dog. And um, I was not happy that I didn't have Belial's boss power. I normally run death for the beam, and I was leveling my glyphs earlier. And just to give everyone an idea of where my glyph levels are, my hardcore character is not that great. I'm literally running on fumes with this thing. I've got an 82, an 81, an 81, oof, an 80, and a 73. Eliminator is not that big of a deal to level up, in my opinion. Once you start filling it out, yeah, it'll matter. But until you're at that point, it's not that big of a deal. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. What am I doing there? Nothing to see here. Fuck. Do I really want to do that? And this is one of the things you do on hardcore. You sacrifice damage for survivability. I actually took off my Shaco and put on a Perdition, which was a massive amount of health. I lost about 2k taking off my Shaco. I didn't feel comfortable at 25k max health and shield. I'm very upset that I'm at 23, and I am, constantly concerned that there is stuff that will. Oh, did I not? Oh, I never had a Shaco. Okay. The helm I used to have on hardcore must have been a GA. Okay, it was just GA max life. Oh god. So I took off hardened bones and a ton of max health in exchange for perdition. Well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Anyhow, that's Belial, that's Hatred, and that's Urivar. Once you get to know them, they're not that bad. Again, Urivar, I love Urivar. I love Urivar way more than Baby Belial, Zur, and Beast, just because it feels like there's less RNG. I've gotten hit with the knockback on Urivar before. I sometimes I eat it on occasion. It's a lot of burst. As long as you get away from the pikemen, they're gonna stab you once. But if you get back to the center of the room, they're not gonna stab you again. And he just died. I'm gonna be honest, Urivar, I didn't even know he had certain mechanics before today because even when I first started out the season, I was killing him super quick. Hatred, once you get his timing down, and once you learn that he has a cooldown on when he can hop through the portal, and I'm not sure if you guys saw, he actually took a long time to hop through those portals. He may only hop through them when you come close. So if you're at ranged, if you can, sorry, you need to go to bed. If you're at range and you can kill the portals at range, you're probably going to have a very easy time killing them, and it's not going to be that bad. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it helped you out with the bosses, and I hope it makes you feel more comfortable, one, doing these bosses hardcore, and two, helps you feel confident doing these bosses sooner on softcore, even if you don't have a boss killer. Thank you, and have a great day.